This is being recorded to the cloud from Bloomington, Indiana, home of Indiana University, where I just spent the last couple of hours doing what? What? Celebrating the 100-year anniversary of Indiana University. We had a special ceremony in the School of Education. And there's a book that just came out you can order. I got a bookmark. My colleague, my former office neighbor, Fritz Lieber, wrote the book of the 100-year anniversary. The dean was there opening the ceremonies. The former dean, one of the former deans was there, Don Warren, and many people. So it was kind of fun to see and to participate in. I have pictures to prove it. And we have 4 visiting scholars here at Indiana with me this semester. One of them came, and I have many pictures with her, with Sung-hee and myself. And I think Sung-hee may show up. So we're at Bloomington. We've got also Bo up there in Purdue land, up in Lafayette. But now we've got another guest coming from another Big Ten university. I mean, the Big Ten dominate the education research space. It's always been that way. Illinois, we've got Chad Lane from the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. It was, I guess, for a bit, for about a decade ago, they called it the University of China at Champaign. I think it's a nickname the Chronicle of Higher Ed gave it because there's a lot of Chinese people studying there. They had their own television station for football games broadcasting in Chinese, believe it or not. It's a great place. I've been on several dissertations or helped students with dissertations there. Back around 2006, 7, 8, 9, I was there a lot of times. I love going to Illinois and going to Race Street and finding a nice little pub and good food. And it's only improved since then. Bloomington and IU are both gems. Even Purdue's improved. I hate to say that, Bo, I'm sorry. Purdue has improved over the past 20 years as a place to live. Yes, there's just trees on campus, but and Champaign, it's IU is a top 10 campus in the country. Champaign's a pretty nice place to be at as well. And in fact, you can get supercomputers at any store you want to go because it's the home of supercomputers, home of Netscape, home of everything tech related. But when I went to Wisconsin, it was the Ed Psych program at Illinois that was always known about, with Richard Anderson studying schema theory and Ann Brown also studying schema theory and other things. And the Center for Reading Research was housed there at the University of Illinois. And it's always been ranked 1, 2, or 3, along with Stanford and Wisconsin. So Chad is part of that department. He has got something else he's calling the Delta program, maybe, or Delta project. Maybe we can start before we get into Minecraft and the research on Minecraft. Maybe Chad can talk a bit about that. So Chad, again, is at the University of Illinois. His research lab seeks to develop educational technologies that are compelling and engaging for the very best social apps that are out there, video games, movies. Like our dedicated educators, I would like our technology to captivate learners, both new, young learners, novice learners, and older people, to cultivate attitudes that they want to learn. They want to seek out new learning. And he's also developing impactful, intelligent technologies for the future. So he's getting into intelligent tutoring systems that promote learning. So we can talk about that as well, in addition to Minecraft. There's a lot that we can talk about. Basically, I think we could bring up any special issue from any of the 15 weeks, and he would have something to say about it because he's interested in all aspects of emerging technologies. But this is week 4, and this is the week his article is featured in the special issue. It is this week that we read his article and talked about it on Monday. It is this week that we brainstorm questions, and so we've got them to ask. So Chad, before we go to those questions, before we go to the article, could you give us a little bit of background about Delta, about your career, and what you all are exploring there at Illinois, so that maybe Jill and Alicia, my visiting scholars, and Lena and Sung, we may drive there and come visit. Why should we visit you?
Hey, Kurt. Well, thanks. It's great to see you all, and this is fun. I'm glad it worked out because I do enjoy doing these things when the schedule permits. Yeah. So let me tell you, Delta is actually based in the curriculum and instruction department here. So I'm an affiliate faculty there, but that's where all of our, most of our educational technology researchers are. So Emma Mercier, Rob Lindgren, Mike Tissenbaum. So a lot of names in the space doing a wide range of things with educational technologies in schools and museums, and emphasis on collaboration. So Delta is this degree program stands for Digital Environments for Learning, Teaching, and Agency. There's a PhD program and a master's program and an undergraduate concentration that's available. So that's where, my community, even though I'm in educational psychology and I do ed tech, and I'll tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, but AI is kind of central to my career. We do get into broader issues in educational technology. We do a lot of design-based research. A lot of STEM education, and SF funding is very common here. So the Delta program is just one of the more popular programs here in our college. And so when I want to talk ed tech, that's my community. And then in ed psych, we've got one other person here that's her priority. Cynthia D'Angelo does a lot of classroom audio analysis and educational data mining type work.
Sounds like my career early on
Delta.
here. I'd go travel over to the IST department when I want to talk tech. I was in ed psych too.
Yeah.
Now I've been officially a member of the IST program. Eventually the learning science people kicked me out, and so I had to go somewhere. And that's where I went. I have a former student at Illinois. She got her master's at Indiana, her PhD at Georgia. Her name is Unjung Oh, Grace Oh. Do you know Grace?
I do. Oh, very well. Yeah, Grace is up in EPAL, right upstairs from me, and we have spoken frequently. That's great. I didn't know that. How cool.
She's fab. Oh yeah, she was part of my team actually doing research when she was here. Published a couple things about blended learning with her back in the mid 2000s, late 2000s. Yeah, cool. She's phenomenal.
Yeah. She does. So we have 4 departments in our college: ed psych, curriculum instruction, special education, and then EPAL is the policy, policy and leadership. So Grace views technology through those lenses, and has a lot of more. They have a larger online presence, so that makes sense coming from your lab, Kurt.
Yep.
So just real quick about me. I got my PhD in computer science at the University of Pittsburgh. So there I worked with people like Kurt Van Lane, Johanna Moore, Martha Pollack, some AI people who focused on educational problems, and that's I was kind of drawn to that. I started my PhD at University of Wisconsin-Madison. I ended up just getting my master's. I did love my time there, and I think Madison. I think we here in Champaign have Madison envy. That's a great college town, and it is wonderful here, but nothing like two big lakes and State Street. But anyway, I discovered my love of AI, and I taught introductory computer science at Madison, and I found myself far more fascinated by the students in those classes than in my operating systems database courses. And, I love talking to my students and finding out why it was hard for them and what we could do to help them. So I wanted to work in that intersection of AI, technology and the learning sciences. And Wisconsin was not the place at that time for that work. And so I found Pittsburgh, and of course with CMU across the street, it was an amazing environment in which I was a computer science major, but my office and my friends were in the Learning Research and Development Center, LRDC, which is a famous house for educational research. So I hung out with cognitive psychologists and instructional design experts, but I was taking all my computer science courses. So I've just lived in this interdisciplinary space my whole career. After that, I took a job out at USC, a place called the Institute for Creative Technologies. It's a wonderful place to look for summer internships. They do a lot of exciting things in AI and entertainment technologies, computer graphics, natural language processing. They even do social psychology and virtual human research. And I spent 10 years there. So it's all soft money, meaning grants and projects. And I didn't want to stay there my whole career, but I had a great decade. I networked and had a lot of fun with really cool technology and smart people. But, I'm from Illinois, and I saw the position here in educational psychology. So my move was more from AI and computer science focus, just became more and more applied, more and more empirical. and I've ended up now in an educational psychology department with I have an appointment in computer science as well. So I just am very happy working in these interdisciplinary spaces and trying to solve problems with different perspectives. So my lab, I have computer science PhD students working with my ed psych PhD students. I've got some CNI students as well, and we just really try to bring our various strengths together to do the projects that we do.
A couple of clarifications. USC, for my visiting scholars, is University of Southern California out in LA. So that's where he was working out there. You mentioned the three parts. So the three parts were technology, computer science, and psychology, or what was it? What were the three?
Oh God, which three did I pick? I advertise myself as working in the intersection of AI, which I kind of combine with educational technology. So the technology piece, and then education, learning sciences. And then the third one I draw in is entertainment technologies. So thinking about how do we learn from game designers and people and storytellers and everyone who creates engagement, how can we learn principles from that to create technologies that are more engaging that also promote learning? So the middle of that Venn diagram is where I am the happiest.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to talk about engagement during the time we have with you today. This relates to the Minecraft article as well, but this is a topic that's come up repeatedly in the first 3-4 weeks in here. So
I see.
do want to do that. I will say at Madison, maybe the first class I took a long time ago with Rich Lair in Ed Psych, there was a guy who knocked on the door one day, and during maybe the second month of class, it's in January, February, and the guy walks in and he says, and Rich grabbed him. He says, you don't need to be here. Basically, he took him out in the hallway and he sent him somewhere else. So what happened was, this is a guy named Ken Cadinger. Ken
Oh,
Cadinger
yeah.
is a very
I know
famous
Ken
guy.
very
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so he told Ken, you shouldn't be coming to Wisconsin for your PhD, just like you went to Pittsburgh. He went to Pittsburgh, but he went to Carnegie Mellon, and he's never left. So if
He's
anyone
never
wants
left.
to, he's never left. Never been a guest of mine. I probably should get him as a guest. He was a Wisconsin guy, actually, but he helped develop with John Anderson. There's Richard Anderson, schema theory, John Anderson in AI and the cognitive structures and stuff, the algebra tutor and the math tutor, geometry and algebra tutors, and other things. So he's a big AI guy. And so the same thing happened to him that happened to you. You know, Wisconsin's a great place, but just not right timing at the time for what he wanted to do. And so he went to Pittsburgh. And I went to Morgantown, which is near Pittsburgh when I got done. So West
That's neat.
Virginia.
I
Yeah.
did not
So
know that about Ken. How cool. Yeah, he's very happy in Pittsburgh, that's for sure. Yeah, I've known Ken for years. And yeah, that all of that work in the cognitive tutor space was foundational and critical. And my advisor, Kurt Van Lane, was also part of the cognitive tutor, but he did similar work. But in any case, that is sort of the core of how I was trained, is that cognitive modeling piece and the feedback piece and an ongoing assessment and interactive problem solving. It's all very important. And still, even in the age of generative AI now, all of that work and old-fashioned AI is still highly relevant and critical to understand and use.
but it's at the intersection. So I have a business undergrad. So intersection of business, technology, education, and psychology is where I'm at. It's a different intersection, but that's where interesting things happen. And that's where you can get more people interested in your work because they're not reading the same old thing that everyone's writing about anyhow. So before maybe we talk about your other maybe we should talk about the Minecraft article first, and maybe we can spin off into engagement in intelligent tutoring systems, if that's okay with you.
Anything's fine. That sounds great.
Okay, so I sent you 7 questions, and
Bo
instead
has
of
his hand up, by the way.
yeah, Bo, yeah, sorry, Bo, go ahead.
I was just going to remind you, Dr. Bonk, that there was a couple of other special guests that were here to talk about Minecraft for a second before we got into the question answer portion.
Right, we have some guests to show you what they're doing in Minecraft, Chad.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, so Jill, do you have your son with you? And I think
Oh yes, he is well prepared.
you're welcome to show your screen if you want, but
Wait a minute, he used Minecraft to create an IU logo
Just say hello.
landmark in his world.
Hi.
Let's see.
Can you?
Oh, it's blurring out.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's kind of boring, right?
Yeah, we see it. Yeah, very good.
And also he create a Japanese hot spring house. Yeah.
No, you haven't made
Wonderful.
anything? Come on. Have you made anything?
Okay, we can continue.
Oh, Riza, your son is showing one too, huh? What does he have, Riza?
Yeah.
I love
I
this.
guess
Little ambassador.
have you made anything or just you're showing the game?
ساختم
Really?
اینا
Okay.
بگو بهشون هتل اینجا ساخته
He's showing you that he has recently he has made it. It's like a hotel and there is a pool inside it, I guess. He's saying. Okay. I don't know. You can see it or not?
Oh yeah, and I see something swimming in the pool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Something is swimming in the pool?
The Loch Ness
Oh,
Monster.
Oh no, it was a reflection, but there is
Yeah.
tons of sea life. You could easily throw a turtle in there
Yeah.
without a problem.
How about we give the microphone? Jill, your son's name again is?
Roy
Roy, would you like to explain how often you use Minecraft and what you tend to use it for?
play
你每天用多久
I don't know
How often? I mean, probably 30 minutes every day.
30 minutes every day?
Yeah,
Okay.
after completing the homework, it's a reward.
Okay.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Riza, you're
那个背景模糊用掉，你去设定 more 这边，
没关系。
然后是这边
Jill, what did he say?
He said it's blurry.
Oh, okay.
He wants me to fix
Okay.
some problems, but I
Okay.
think it's okay.
Okay. Risa, your son, would you like to explain how often he uses it and what he does in Minecraft?
How often do you play?
I don't play it right now because I actually don't like Minecraft because it's like so it's not hard, but it's nobody likes it because there's nothing to do in it. It's just the first time you made all of this stuff, you think it's so cool, but then when you're done with everything, when you get tired, you don't want to do something. But in survival, you have to do a lot of stuff. You have to make things. It's so hard. Probably Minecraft, it's for survival, it's hard. Creative, you can't play it because if you play it for like 1 week or 1 month, you get tired of it because it's not that much cool thing. It's
Okay.
old.
Thank you, Uman.
Okay.
It seems that he believes that after a while you get tired. He
Okay.
does not like it, but usually plays with it. I don't know. How is it possible? Somebody hates somebody and at the same time plays it.
Like critics that go to the movies anyways. Okay. And
Yeah.
and Jill, does your son like playing with Minecraft or not?
I like playing Minecraft.
That's all right. It's blurry, but everybody
Okay.
can see your
Okay.
creation.
So that relates to one of the questions, Chad, and that was the continuing motivation and gamification and how it relates to gamifying and so forth to other environments. How do you keep kids engaged in this? And so there's continuing motivation, and how does that transfer to the teaching of other disciplines, and so forth?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think maybe I'll answer you by starting with just a little bit of theory that influenced us. So I don't know how much theory you've covered in the class, but I think it's useful to think about continuing motivation. Like how do we foster that in terms of how we can create experiences that will continuously challenge and interest someone. A child is, I focus mostly on middle school learners. So if it's okay, I would love to share my slides, Kurt. Is that
Oh,
fine?
sure. Oh,
I-
yeah, please.
So I do want to start though by giving a big major caveat is that creativity is not a central theme of my research. This was actually a side project from a student that really wanted to do creativity. And I have read a lot about it. I highly recommend Keith Sawyer's work on creativity. He's got like 4 books. I have been reading his stuff for a long time. He does the handbooks on the learning sciences. But anyway, I just want to clarify that this was just one project that I did. So I'm not a creativity expert. And but we do a lot with Minecraft. So I have a little more to say about that. Let me just share this response to you because I think it has a real nice conclusion on here we go. This is what I want on that will help answer your question. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, at Wisconsin, we had a lot of creativity people, so I was trained in it. And I actually got to meet Keith Sawyer. I was behind him in the line at AERA getting at Starbucks, and I got to chat
Yeah.
with him. And I use his books in my creativity class. And I
Nice.
mentioned him on Monday. So I've mentioned some of these different creativity people and their tests, but I didn't go into detail about the theories behind it because they'll get it next fall if they take my class.
Oh,
Then
right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I often show this picture here of a young man that was in one of our summer camps, and I like to ask the audience to make some observations about his interaction with Minecraft here. So, a lot of people look at it and they notice, okay, he's got his hands properly placed on the keyboard. That's kind of cool. They notice that he's got a second screen with documentation that's up. So that will be familiar to anyone who's been a coder. You usually need a second area to have documentation to refer to. He's doing that. If you look at his screen, there's a Minecraft world there, but he's working on a command line, and he's writing pretty sophisticated commands to interact with his environment. So he's gaining really different sorts of skills than a lot of people realize when you interact with Minecraft. So what you're seeing here is a very deep, what psychologists call individual interest in Minecraft. This is part of his identity. He's really knowledgeable, and so this picture really shows this concentration. He's doing, pretty complicated things, and so I love that picture because a lot of children develop this relationship with Minecraft. They go off and they create mods. I had a student that I hired for 4 years from his freshman to his senior year. He taught himself Java because all he wanted to do was write mods and plugins for Minecraft. And I still, to this day, he's off working in Chicago. I hired him as a consultant because he built like our whole back end and he is still involved even 3 years after graduating.
Wow.
So so that is a wonderful story of how Minecraft was the start, the seed for all of it. And he was a computer science major, and he really, the game was part of his life. But this is what I wanted to show you is, so this is a model developed by Renninger and Heedy, who are 2 very well-known psychologists who study interest development. And to help answer your question about how do you sustain this engagement or this motivation to engage with content, this is the model we've worked on. And so we think about this movement from situational interest, which is about features of the environment and the people around you and things in the context, as it moves and grows into this thing they call individual interest, which is that internalized identity style of interest in a topic. And this applies across the board. Think of your own life, your hobbies, your professional identity and focus. You can apply this to yourself. Everybody can, because this is how interests develop. So how do we maintain that? Well, there's a couple of key things to notice. One is to maintain situational interest to where it can last. We have to think about the nature of an experience. So there are different features that have emerged as critical. So continuing novelty. Our young man who was on here ran out of things to do in Minecraft. If there's structure around it and opportunity to find brand new things to do, so if he would get into mods, that novelty wouldn't go away. He would start to see and be opened up to the vastness of this Minecraft culture with over it has more players than any game in history at this point. So it is the most popular game in terms of players. The data is staggering on how many people play Minecraft. And so, yeah, so that's the answer, is that you think about how to maintain this. There's a few interesting things to note about this model, which is, of course, supported by decades of empirical work. If interest is not triggered sufficiently, interest can fade. If you're not given opportunities to engage in it, and you're not, you don't have the people around you, peers or adults, to be there and encourage you and help create positive emotions with that content, you can lose interest. But if you have all those supports, you have an opportunity for it to move to this individual interest phase, which of course then has been shown to produce higher grades, higher engagement, college majors, professional careers. And so there's a lot of reasons to look at this research and think about its, what it implies for the work we do in design of educational technologies. So that's the answer, and we've done that with the work we've created in Minecraft. And there's the book if you're interested in looking at it. They are very rigorous in how they define it. They're very rigorous in how they describe the evidence for this 4-phase model, they call it. And we just found it a perfect fit for what we were trying to do, which was to use Minecraft to create interest in STEM. Now that's independent, that's separate from the creativity studies, but this was the foundation for all of that work.
I went to Susan Heidi's talk at AERA a quarter century ago, and I still remember it vividly. She's a wonderful researcher, and people follow that. And lately, it's become more. Actually, I've seen more and more people citing it because the area and interest. How to foster interest and make things relevant and meaningful and authentic and all those kinds of things. It's back. It's back or it's found its niche or area again.
Yeah, and I've heard her last name pronounced both ways, so it is Heidi. That is.
I've heard it both ways too. I'm just.
Oh, I've always wondered. I've talked with Anne on many occasions, but I've never met Suzanne.
Oh, okay. So that's great answer to one of those questions. Does anyone want to jump in here to follow up with Chad about what he's talked about so far or other things that we've? Yeah, Alicia is my visiting scholar from China, and she's in Shanghai actually.
Oh, welcome.
Teaching
Oh,
English.
no, I'm here. I'm in Bloomington.
She's in Bloomington. She's from Shanghai.
I come from Shanghai, yes. I'm in Bloomington now.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Bank. And I think that this talk is impressive. So I really want to know what kind of training or support do teachers needed to effectively use Minecraft as our educational tool? Is there any training or support? I want to use it. It looks very good.
Well, it's a great question, and it's one of the major hurdles, for using educational technology such as Minecraft. And so, I'll just first say that the context for all of the work we've done has been informal settings. And so we were funded through ASIL, which is the Advancing Informal Science Learning Program at NSF. And we've done all of our work in the context of summer camps, after school programs, and then we've had a few museum, where we go and just set up shop and let kids come and play. And we always, it's not just Minecraft. So we integrated a lot of so for example, in this project, which I have more to show you later, we have kids taking measurements on exoplanets that we've created in Minecraft and hypothetical versions of Earth, like Earth could have been different. Like what if we had no moon? We built that in Minecraft so kids could explore it and learn about how it's different from our Earth. Anyway, we have them measure things like the wind speed. So instead of just sitting in the video game environment for 4 hours of a summer camp, we go outside with tools and we measure the wind wherever we are. And then we'll also measure radiation with special cards, and we'll get a baseline for what Earth is like. And then we'll go back in and play Minecraft. And then they have a a way to compare the measurements they're getting in our Minecraft worlds as they make decisions about the suitability for these planets to support life. So anyway, that's all tangent, but I wanted to say that because all of this is complicated and would be very difficult to do in a classroom setting. So so we don't have to deal with that in our project, but there are things out there and there are answers for you. And so one of them is to go to Microsoft, who have embraced this challenge directly. So they bought a company that was doing a Minecraft EDU. They bought that maybe 10 years ago now and turned it to Minecraft Education Edition, which they now have recently renamed Minecraft Education. And so it is a branch of Minecraft that is designed with teachers in mind. So they have special tools like you can pause the game, so you can talk with your class and you can move your kids around. The combat is removed, so they can't break off and do combat like they can in the Java version that we use. The Java version, you can do more. It's more researcher friendly. We can make changes, which Education Edition is more locked down for obvious reasons. But so anyway, the Education Edition is also provided with all kinds of supports for teachers. There's a huge library of lessons, downloadable content. There's tools for submitting work inside of the game. There's tools for having kids collaborate on different projects, and so that would be my suggestion for a teacher looking to use it in the classroom is to go look at Minecraft Education, and there's training courses available for that. They have people that will come on site to help you. Microsoft has really invested a lot of energy and effort into this side of things in Minecraft, and it's not even that profitable for them. So I've been very impressed by all of their work at Microsoft on this one.
Thank you,
Committed.
Dr. Blaine. This is helpful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Microsoft also invested in Flipgrid and made it free as part of Microsoft products. Charlie Miller from University of Minnesota is a professor there who built Flipgrid. It's now called Flip. So it's a video-based.
Yeah.
Yes. So Microsoft did buy that out and made it free. I think they made it free to anyone to use. It's a good, educational tool. So, this is very important. So we might have Charlie, if I can get him. He's hard to get a hold. He's a vice president of Microsoft to be a guest, but he was a professor, and I helped him get tenure and I helped him get full. But then he left anyhow. Does anyone have a follow-up question? Yes, Jill.
Hi, Dr. Len. Yeah, Miss Jill. I'm
Jill is from
wondering about,
Taiwan. She's another
yes,
visiting
I'm
scholar
from,
of mine. Yeah.
yeah. I'm wondering about such open-ended task like Minecraft equals to the circle EO structure problem-solving activities. Do you think they are equal?
Could you repeat the last part? So what is
The
about the
EO structure. The EO
Yeah.
structure means this is open-ended, right? So there is the fixed route for learners
Yeah.
to solve the problems. So probably this kind of open-ended task might
Gotcha.
be very similar to the circle EO structure problem-solving activities. So I'm wondering, adding on Alicia's problem and questions, do you think it's necessary to set specific rubric or the circle performance goals if this kind of open-ended task is integrated into the school curriculums?
It's a really good question. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a direct answer for you, but I will just a little bit about the paper that you guys invited me here to discuss. My student, Yufan, she was very interested in creativity, and she found this paper that's cited that I recommend everyone if you want to know more about this. It's by Moreau and Ingesett. It's cited in the paper. It's called The Downstream Consequences of Problem-Solving Mindsets, How Playing Lego Influences Creativity. So that study is far more elaborate and complicated than what we did. I just want that it has a wonderful design. It has multiple iterations on creativity and how to design Lego-based experiences to promote creativity. So we viewed our paper, the Minecraft version, as a partial replication of that study, but in Minecraft rather than Legos. So you may have heard Minecraft described as digital Legos. And so we were kind of inspired by that. Is there anything to that analogy that people make all the time? And from what we looked at, we say, yeah, it basically replicated very well in terms of how it influenced people's creativity with tasks. And the very specific question we looked at, and I actually have one, hang on. If you've ever purchased one of these, it's going to go away. Here, I'll stay
We
in
can see
front of
it.
it.
We can see it. Yeah.
It's a Lego box. This is for a space shuttle, and you can build other things with it too. But in any case, these
have a
kits,
series of Lego creation of, I mean, the series of this kind of.
The way these usually work, then, as you probably know, is you can open up a piece of paper inside, and I'm keeping it in mint condition, of course. But it'll tell you, step 1, do this, step 2, do this. So it's very precise, and at no point do you make any decisions. Now, this one appears to have variations, so that's kind of cool. You can branch off, and I haven't seen actually the branching. I should have looked at this more carefully. It was a Christmas gift. But in any case, usually it's a linear set of steps, and you don't, at any point, you don't think. If I think of an analogy from school, and when I took chemistry, my labs were like that. It was just do this exact set of things and take some measurements, right? At no point was I confronted with a challenge or did I have to generate a step. So we compared that, where it's step by step, do this, do this, do this, to another. The experimental condition for us was build a house. So we had them building houses in Minecraft. One was build this house in this way with these steps. The other was build a house, maybe like the one you see here, or whatever one you want. So it was, that might, if you consider that ill-structured, you could probably debate, is that ill-structured or not? Because it's still, the steps you take to build it are probably still pretty clear to you. Oh, I got to build the foundation and then the walls and the roof. And so that's pretty well defined, but it was how you go about each of those, how you express yourself in that. You didn't have that option in the first condition. And that mirrors what was done in the Moreau and Ingersoll paper. So that was our design. So I'll stop rambling on, so in case you want to ask a follow-up on any of that, but that was our design.
Jill?
Thank you. Yeah.
So Bo,
Because I'm not using Lego or the Minecraft in my instruction, and because in Taiwan I have been seeing a high school teacher for 16 years, and for recent years I have used the Google Codespaces, which is a platform for learners to co-create their virtual reality environments and objects. So it is also the open-ended task, but it is the difference between your project and mine. It's like my project is in the formal education context. So it is challenged a lot by either students and the parents because they doubt about the rubric. Yeah, the rubric and the circle, the learning performance in the semester, in the end of semesters. So I really want to have more people share their experience about this kind of interesting creative activity, which I think it's more useful for learners to probably learn or train or sharpen their critical thinking ability. But it is quite challenging in the circle formal educational context, especially in K-12 systems.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I forgot to respond to your rubric question too.
Yeah.
We did what's called the AUT. We did 2 measures of creativity, the alternative uses test. So that's just the traditional paperclip. We wanted one that was completely independent of our test, and that one didn't pan out too well. It was
Right.
basically no difference, because that's a stretch. Like, we're going to have this general impact on creativity with this little, so that didn't work out.
That's exactly what I said on Monday. It's exactly,
Oh.
you know, that was my hope in my master's thesis too. And I was told by a professor at Michigan, named Scott Paris, that will not, you know, you got to spend a year, you know, not a couple week intervention, you know, or even one, right? You know, so
Gosh,
go ahead.
and ours was like 35 minutes. So yeah, so that was a long shot, Hail Mary that didn't work. But our other test, we did the you know, the CAT, or the consensual assessment technique. We basically gave them, I think it was 20 minutes or some number, just go do whatever you want. Here, build something, you know, and there were absolutely no rules. So this was after they did the house task, either the open-ended house task or the well-defined house task. And there, I have some pictures if you want to see a few of what people did, because it's kind of fun. It's like, hey, what do people do when they just have 20 minutes to mess around, right? So these were fun.
20 minutes. That's very interesting, because I spent probably the whole semester.
You know, that's a great question. How long? Let me see. She has this. These are used defense. Oh, she didn't put the time on here, but the guidance was to build something, and so that's what we used the CAT on. It might have been 30 minutes. I can't remember how long they had, but a lot of them were mad when the timer ran out. Like, that's a good sign when you're running a study and they don't want to quit. You know, how often does that happen? But here, you know, they did decorated buildings. This was a roller coaster around a fountain. Here's a Redstone music box. So those who knew Redstone, if you don't know, that's Minecraft's version of electricity. You can build machines with moving parts and pistons, and you can do music, you can do lights, you can build puzzles and build combination locks and count adders and everything. So we had some Redstone, and then they decorate.
Redstone is cool. Yeah, I know that.
So we had this wide range, and then the way we assessed it, and the way you do CAT, as I recall, is you need you know, you need a group of experts who are qualified to judge creative products in a domain.
Okay.
So we had good enough agreement between them, you know, on what was truly creative, what was kind of creative, and maybe what was a dud. And so we used that technique. And, you know, I remember I went through the questions in advance. You know, the CAT, it felt a little weird to me, because I'm so used to like quantitative data, like pre and post test scores of you know, of programming knowledge or computational thinking, or, you know, and so this was just so radically different than anything I've ever used. But in my review of the creativity literature, and Kurt, you'll have more expertise on this than me, it's kind of the go-to. And I honestly don't know, like, you could come up with a rubric from a group of experts and maybe try to make it a little more quantitative, which we kind of pulled out some of the common features, but there was no way to make it lock tight. And, you know, we just used the CAT is basically what we did.
Yeah, they are lower on reliability and validity. Test retest reliability is a bit low on some of these, but acceptable at about 0.660, you know, and it's good enough. And that's, you know, creativity. That's what you expect with creativity kinds of areas. But there are a wide range of tests. So Torrance tests are the most commonly used. Torrance tests of creativity, and same kind of thing. You know, you have experts scoring them, you know, and you say, on my master's thesis, we had to send them to the experts to score it. And, you know, yeah. I have a question on Fawn. Was it Fawn Yu? Did she go, was this her dissertation or a master's thesis? And did she go back to China, or what happened?
Yeah, she was a master's student here, and you know, so a replication study, you know, was a perfect fit for a master's thesis. Right. And then she went back to Beijing, and she works for an educational technology company.
Good for her.
Mobile apps, I think, is her specialty.
Great. I think you said in the back that you have other slides from other questions I think you have slides ready for every question that was listed, or something, the way it sounds.
I don't know about that. I had an hour to sit down today and pull some old things up. So I don't know if it's one-to-one.
Yeah. Okay.
But if there's interest, I can tell you about the work we did with with astronomy education and interest development. So I'm happy to share that if it's helpful. It's not involved with the creativity paper though. So if there were more questions about that, I can do that. Whatever you want.
So there is another question. There is another article in the special issue for this week on astronomy. And Bo's going to summarize that, or did summarize that on Monday night. But we probably should answer at least the one question about the gamification features that you found valuable, that are transferable. What would those be if you were to do the workshop that Alicia wants in training teachers and or instructional designers for things that they would embed in their approaches? What kind of gamification features tend to be now widely accepted? They might be extrinsic motivation, might be intrinsic motivation kinds of things, but that's important, I think, for us to kind of wrestle with and think about, because there's a lot of wordage out there about gamification, gamification, but sometimes no one's specific about what that means when you operationalize it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the question we all wrestle with. I've never done anything with, so when I hear gamification, I instantly go to badges and leaderboards and things, and I've never done anything with that side of gamification. So I'm not even caught up on what the latest research is on those. So the work we've done is really thinking about it's thinking about engineering experiences, and so that's what's drawn me to the entertainment industry, is because that's what they are. They engineer interactive experiences. Your favorite video games. I'm sure we have some gamers in the group here. I am, when I love it. I don't play as much as I want to, but I certainly love my Xbox. And what's going on behind those scenes is a bunch of decisions from creative people who know, whether implicitly or not, what choices they should make to keep people's attention, to keep people's motivation high, as you were mentioning, Kurt, and to generate interest in a game. So what we've done with our Minecraft work is, we benefited from a couple of things in this. One is pre-existing interest in the game. So as I mentioned, the numbers are staggering on Minecraft. How many people play? It's shocking, frankly, how many billions of hours are played a day. So we benefited from that pre-existing interest, but there's a downside to that, which I want to share with you too. The second thing that is good about Minecraft is its customizability. So it is Mojang, who made the game before Microsoft bought them, made the decision early on to embrace the mod community rather than shut it down. So for comparison, Electronic Arts went out of their way to shut that down. You are not allowed to change this game. And they were very aggressive with legal action and everything for people trying to change games. Mojang said, no, welcome. We want you to. They never made it open source, but they didn't care if people reverse engineered it and decompiled it. And that's exactly what happened. So the Java version was decompiled, and now there are countless mods for all kinds of things out there. So that customizability we've embraced, and we have a server that runs here that's on 24/7, and we have a robust backend that logs every single thing that kids do while they're in our studies. We have all the navigational, data. We have the blocks that they create and that they destroy, all of the talking and chatting that they do. And so we actually built that by bringing in an anti-griefing mod, which, if you're not familiar with vocabulary, griefing means when you go on a server and try to destroy other people's work, the anti-griefing lets you roll it back. And what's good about these anti-griefing mods is they track every single thing you do so that you can't undo any actions. And so we turn that into a research tool, and we get elaborate representations of how they navigate the worlds we've created, where they stop and look around, where they leave observations and like, this is interesting, and so we have all of that data that we mine looking for interesting patterns. So all of that was made available because of Minecraft's flexibility. So that was the second piece. And then the third piece, which is hopefully more of a direct answer to you, which is to think about this idea of novelty and emotional engagement. And so we tried to create experiences that were constantly something new. We have a server where they can go do things that they can't do anywhere else. So that's really critical. And so that constant novelty, we created narratives in the summer camps, like we need to decide if humans can live on this planet. Go take measurements, go build a habitat to protect yourself from radiation and see if you could live in this environment. And so that overarching narrative is one of my favorite things to think about when you're leveraging game technologies, is make sure there's a bigger picture, a bigger story that they can understand.
So
Finally, oh, sorry, Kurt, go ahead.
Riza has a question.
Oh.
Riza, you want to jump in here with your question, or should I ask it? Riza came over to the U.S. from Iran a year ago, so he's a new
welcome.
immigrant to the U.S. Riza, you're muted, Riza. You have to unmute. Unmute. Yeah.
Sorry, my mic was off.
No worries.
Chad was praising Minecraft. Actually, he's making me to try Minecraft. I wonder what percentage of that big number, 100 million users. Do you have any number that what percentage of that users are adults?
So Microsoft only provides the overall numbers, and so you can find surveys and estimates, and there's the largest group is now in their 20s. So yeah, so it's kids who grew up with it and constantly come back to it. That's the last estimate I've seen, but no, there's very little in terms of demographics of that user base, unfortunately.
Great.
I will say though, the younger kids are playing. So Jill, I think your son was on a Switch. Is that right? So Minecraft has been a huge hit on the Switch, and that's been a big boost into the numbers. Is when the Switch brought in Minecraft.
Okay, so anyway, it's not suitable for people so old as me.
Oh no, it is. And there's actually I'm trying to remember. So one name to look up is Mimi, M-I-M-I Ito. And Mimi Ito is at UC Irvine. Do you know Mimi, Kurt?
She came and gave a talk here about a decade ago. And in fact, last night, my colleagues, she's on the new National Educational Technology Plan. She's listed as the name. And my colleague, I told my colleagues, we need to bring her to the podcast show. And she's one of the two people I'm going to be contacting for my podcast show and bringing in. So yeah, I know
Wonderful.
her. And I've sent her a couple of my books, but we are not personal friends or anything, but I know her and I know her work and I've seen her present. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
And participatory learning of teenagers. She's studied. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring her up is so Reza, they run this thing called Connected Camps, which are online Minecraft camps, and it is so successful. And if you look on their website, they have handbooks for parents to learn how to play Minecraft, and they give you step by step. I send a lot of people that way so that parents can engage with their kids. I'll just share a real quick personal story. So I did all this work in Minecraft because of my kid. He's now 21, nearing his end of his bachelor's degree, and but he's the one who introduced me to Minecraft back when he was in 7th grade. It came out in 2009. He was playing, like 2010. He was playing, and at first I was like, oh, it looks cool. And then his friends started coming over and they started collaborating. They took on roles. They started working together on complex, structures. They would build crazy things. Then they play in, survival mode too and have to fight. There was a little bit of violence, but they also were doing all the creative stuff and shared goals and all kinds of cool things. And so I started asking them questions, and it got me thinking, like, this is a simulation of the natural world. We could teach STEM in this. So I owe all of this to my kid. And my parental philosophy was he didn't talk. My kid was not a talker, except when I asked him about video games. He wouldn't stop talking. So I found that to be a great way to bond with him. We started playing games together, defeating levels and finishing games together. And it just became our thing. Now, I made him play sports. He played it and he wanted to play sports. He had musical instruments. He was outside all the time. I wouldn't let it be his whole life, but I used it as an opportunity I got good at Minecraft because of him, and he taught me. So we had this role reversal where he was the expert and I was the learner, and we love that too. So anyway, I just found it to be a wonderful opportunity. But at the same time, I had another motive, which was to figure out how to get funding to investigate it. And it worked.
Maybe the title of your next research can be how we can fill the gap between the generations.
Yeah, intergenerational learning. Yeah,
The
yeah.
impact of Minecraft in filling the gap between the generations.
Right. That's a really good idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Sure.
Emmanuel has a question, but first Bo has data to show us. And Bo, please save all the links from tonight, and we'll make a handout for all the students who are here, as well as those who are not here. They can get all the links that have been shared. But Bo, you want to put the data up you just found?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share the screen here for a second. Let's see. So Riza, to answer your question, it looked like about 36% was in the of Minecraft users is going to be in the range of 22 to 65. So that's actually a pretty substantial amount of all the users that's in there. This page had quite a few different graphs and statistical charts on there and stuff, but it
Cool.
might be interesting for you to check out. Yeah. So this is mind-blowing still. I mean, we're talking about, okay, 2018, it's still growing in sales every year.
Yeah, thank you for this. I haven't seen this, so it's exciting to see.
Yeah, no problem.
Updated stats. Is that linked in here somewhere? Because I want that link.
I believe it was the last one that I shared, but yeah, I'll drop it in one more time right there for you.
Great, got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
Chad, I was gonna just share just a real quick story. I started teaching a fifth grade high ability class back in 2012 or 2013, and I had 7 girls in that group and 1 boy, and they were so self-motivated to not just engage with Minecraft, but to engage with one another. Every single night that they would go home, this was, pre-Zoom, they would go and they would hop on a Skype together. And they'd sit there and they'd play Minecraft. 2 of the students had built multiple servers that they would run on and stuff, and it was really cool just to see how this game not only taught them and grew their creativity, but it also developed their social reliance on one another. And they had some really it was a really tight-knit bunch of students for being such a young age as well. So yeah, I can't say enough about this game.
It's a great story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I believe it, every word of it. I've seen it too.
You're getting confirmation here throughout the chat window of other parents who are in the audience here with their kids and so forth. You indicated maybe showing us something on your astronomy research, but before, do you have anything else that you want to mention on the Minecraft study before you do that?
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to say, and because it surprised us, we went into all of this with the astronomy stuff, which I'll just show you some quick screenshots so you get the feel for it. And if you do have kids of that age, I would love them to get on our server and try it out, because we worked really hard on it. It's 4 years of work to make this server the way it is, and we had the pilots. And anyway, I'll share all that in a minute. But the big surprise for us was that the kids that came in that were hardcore Minecraft, it's like that they couldn't stop playing. They loved it. It was their their bread and butter of their gaming lives. They actually didn't learn as much in our camps. They actually were less appealing to us as instructors in terms of their camp engagement. And so we really struggled with this, because they came in, and now one aspect of that, and we love the role reversal. Like, we love that they brought expertise in that we didn't have as instructors and researchers, So like with my son, we tried to maximize that, so it felt like more of a collaborative, rather than us being the information provider and then being the information receiver. It was really a different context for teaching and learning. But the downside is that there is a Minecraft culture. There's a way of thinking, a culture that you enter into when you play the game, and they couldn't seem to escape that to engage with all the science content properly. So they would be more interested in either showing off, or, for example, we put barriers, invisible barriers around certain areas, and they all set a goal of trying to bypass those barriers. And rather than engage with like something we built that we wanted to, like a Mars rover or something that we wanted them to investigate, they would go and find those barriers and try to get through them. So all of that stuff just happened over and over and over again. So we love the kids who had played a little bit of Minecraft, but it wasn't like something they watched YouTube on, for example. That was the sweet spot for learning in our camps. Yeah, cool. So you want me to show you a little bit about the astronomy project?
Sure. And tell us what theoretical perspective you're bringing in on that project.
Yeah, so this is the one where we did the interest work. And so in a nutshell, we collaborated with a bunch of people, but this was my primary collaborator. He's a wonderful guy. He's an astronomer at the University of Maine, and he has spent a large chunk of his career exploring hypothetical versions of Earth. So he has these 2 books that explore how Earth could have been different. And they're all feasible. I mean, the fact that we have a moon is just by chance, that Earth was struck by a Mars-sized other, object, asteroid, whatever it was, and that formed into our moon, so we just got lucky there. So it could have been that we didn't have a moon. Anyway, he plays all these out in these books. And after I got to know Neil, I said, what if we could put kids on the surface and let them walk around on these crazy versions of Earth? And he loved the idea. And we chose to use Minecraft for that. So that's how the project started. We used Minecraft to show these hypothetical worlds. It was bigger than just Minecraft. We worked with PBS Nova, and there's a whole lab on teaching kids about exoplanets. We ran a Planet Minecraft contest. We have an astronomy show that was downloaded by 250 planetariums around the world.
Wow. Really? There's that many planetariums?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
There's more than that. Yeah.
Wow.
This is at CU Boulder. So they were also part of the team there in Colorado. And just show you some pictures. We have a launch base. We have a moon base inspired by Artemis. Here's one of these hypothetical worlds. This one's my favorite. This is, what if Earth was a moon? So what if we orbited like a Neptune-like planet and we were in the habitable zone of our sun? What would Earth be like if we were on a moon rather than a planet? And so you look on the horizon and you see this massive, can you imagine seeing Neptune come up over the horizon every day? So we built that out in Minecraft, and it would have dramatic consequences. So there would be incredible volcanic activity because of the gravitational pull of Neptune on our surface. So it would not be a fun place to live. But we explore it in Minecraft, and kids could run around and make observations and see all this crazy stuff. We built actual exoplanets that NASA's detected. And so this is one of the TRAPPIST planets that's been discovered. It's not too far, like I think 40 million light years. I always get the long distances confused. But in any case, we've detected a lot about the atmosphere, about the shape. It's rocky. It has a star. And anyway, we built all these out to the best of our ability with Neil's input and other astronomers. And we run these summer camps. And so kids get to go through all these worlds. We have a bunch of activities. We have models of, we get them up, standing up, simulating orbits and things like that to apply the knowledge in the game. And so we have this server where they go and they explore and they investigate. There's a space station where they can jump around all these different worlds. They can walk around and detect oxygen, radiation, gravity, and then you can build habitats to survive and make sure you have a water source, heat source, and think about what it would take to survive on these crazy places. And so that's really and then we've collected all kinds of data. This is a representation of some of the stuff we get. So we get their exploration paths on these worlds. We get to see where they go, if they're flying, where they stop, where they build things. So it's a lot of interesting data, and we've found different ways to keep kids' attention in different places, but it's very messy, and we have a lot of work to do still. but we're trying to figure out how to use Minecraft to get kids to be interested in astronomy. If you are at all interested in getting on our server, or seeing more, downloading papers, we have teacher guides. We have all kinds of stuff for the summer camps. It's all free. You can download all of our software too if you want to set up your own server with it. It's all right there. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share.
That's wonderful. Thank you for all your information and demonstrations and insights into this world of Minecraft. What would you call Minecraft to be in terms of the genre of in the education space? What is it?
Sandbox game. Yeah,
Okay.
so we always describe it as a sandbox game, which is basically there are real no game rules. You just go in and do whatever you want, and you configure it however you want. So that is a challenge for us in education, you know, where there's this debate between guided and discovery learning. And so you kind of want to find the sweet spot there where there's enough guidance and nudging to keep kids on learning, you know, trajectories. But at the same time, you want them to feel agency and the ability to do what they want and be creative, collaborate. And so, yeah, we're trying to strike that balance. We have not had as much success with kids just coming to our server and playing independently. We've had most success in a camp context.
That was my next question: is how do you get the kids to play? As a researcher, did you offer incentives to the 42 people in the Minecraft study, and then they came, or did they get course credit for that, or they just came out of volition and their passions and interests?
So for the paper, we paid. They were college undergraduates, and they were paid, I think, $10 or $15. So that was just a traditional psychology study where you bring them into the lab and they do it. For these camps, we just make it free, and we go and we have partners that serve underserved and underrepresented areas in STEM. So we get a lot of kids that are low SES that don't have computers at home. So we engage a lot with communities and organizations that serve those kids. And so we've done a lot, you know, we take our laptops and we go to them and we set up shop. And yeah, so that's sort of been our approach to getting diversity in our data sets and making sure that everything is accessible and available to kids. And then we also leave it running at the community center, a couple of community centers where they can use it if they want. But again, we haven't seen a ton of re-engagement, unfortunately, without us there to scaffold and support. So I would consider that an open question.
Right. You've been with us for over an hour here. I want to be respectful of your time. And so I just want to wrap this up here tonight. But before we go, I just want, if there's any pressing questions someone wants to pose to Chad, does anyone have a final kind of comment, or even a comment or a question? For Bo, yeah.
I was just wondering, Chad, my son's teacher last year, he actually incorporated quite a bit of Minecraft EDU into the work that they did in the classroom. Have you ever, gone out and approached individual teachers about utilizing the servers that you guys have developed for their individual classroom needs as a way of kind of targeting a larger audience with kind of minimal effort there, since you just be hitting up one individual teacher?
It's a great question. Yeah. So since we were funded by AZEL, we've approached informal educators pretty much exclusively, and we've had a lot of success. That CU Boulder, they've actually started training teachers to run these camps, and so we've had some spin-offs where they will they can do after school programs, so they can do a one-shot where it's like a 3-hour thing on a Saturday where kids can come and explore these worlds. And so we have had some success training informal educators to use it. Classrooms are challenging because we have to use Java to do all this cool stuff. Like, I'll give you an example. When you get on our moon, the gravity is 1/6 of Earth's gravity, and kids will jump and they'll be shocked that they can jump so far. And so we love those moments where things are different. They didn't expect that. And they're like, what's going on here? And then that gets you into a conversation about gravity. We can't do that stuff in Minecraft Education Edition. They don't give you the power to control this underlying simulation. And I've told them that. I've met with them many times. They're great. I really love that. But they just can't. They don't turn over the internal system to people like us or anybody to modify. You have to ask them to do it. So we're ongoing conversations. Hopefully they will make it more researcher friendly. They prioritize teachers for good reasons. But anyway, that makes it really hard to get into classrooms. We got very lucky and collaborated with the Ateneo University in Manila. So there's a really good group there in the learning sciences led by Didith Rodrigo is her name. And they had a sister project to WIMSI. So we gave them everything and we met over and over, frequently. They set up their own server, but then they tried to take WIMSI and translate it into Education Edition. And it's probably 60, 70% of it would map over, but we lost a lot of the things like changing gravity and a lot of the science tools where we can measure oxygen and radiation. None of that could work, which is really unfortunate. So anyway, just a little peek into why it's so hard to get your foot in the door there for informal education. Just a lot of little hurdles.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
I think one of my visiting scholars from a decade ago just took a job at that University of Manila. She's from Korea, and I think she just,
Nice.
in an email, maybe you can send me the name so I can spell it right. I think that's the one. I'm sorry, Chad, but I forgot, Emmanuel had a question posed here. I'll make it the last one if it's possible.
Oh,
to
it's
stay for
fine.
one. Okay, Emmanuel,
Yeah,
you'll be
no
the
worries.
last one to ask a question, and then I'll do a quick summary and we'll say goodbye. Emmanuel, you want to ask that question? You posed it a while ago.
Yeah, so I earlier asked about the age level of the people who love to play this Minecraft. Is it specifically to children, or maybe adults are more inclined to playing this game? And also the second question is about the technicality of of playing this game. Is it, or does it need any special skill for one to know how to play this Minecraft game?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the great question. Minecraft is it's pretty simple to learn to play. You can learn to walk around. So gamers, you already know the WASD keys. So if you're not familiar, WASD is forward, left, right, and back. So that's, if you look in the left side of your keyboard, those 4 keys are used in so many games. So we have had kids who have, believe it or not, have never played Minecraft. They've seen their friends maybe, but so we actually have a special thing that we do for kids that have never played, and we take them aside and we get them these very basic skills so that they can learn how to move around, to learn to talk and type, and also how to place blocks down, to build things, and to remove things. And so once we teach them those very basic skills in about 10 minutes, they are engaging at a pretty high level. So it's a pretty quick onboarding if you just have the game up and running. Now, if you don't even have the game downloaded on your computer and you don't even know, you got to buy an account, which is $26 for life for the Java version. So it's not bad. Then you have a few more hurdles to get up and running. We focused on middle school. All of our content is designed for middle school learners. So I like to say kids at that age they have enough science to be dangerous in their background, but they haven't got to the advanced classes of high school. And the other reason is, if you've looked at the research on STEM interest, led by, I think, one of the guys is at IU, Maltese and Thai.
Yeah, Adam Maltese, sure, yeah.
Very famous work. They found that the STEM interest begins to decline rapidly in moving into high school. So we figured we're going to ramp up informal, positive experiences with STEM, fun in a game environment like Minecraft. So try to inject a bunch of positive emotions and fun into STEM learning at that middle school age. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this. But one more thing, I want to
welcome.
clarify something here. It's about, I am in the science education, and then I also I'm an associate instructor. So I've been thinking about using games to integrate games into the curriculum to enhance student engagement level, and also their cognitive development, how they cognitively engage to the content that I teach. So I've been wondering how Minecraft could be a possible approach that I can use to integrate into this curriculum for the learners to be able to get inclined to it, and also get some the content knowledge. So, and also, since the playing of faith you need to at least have some know how to navigate through the system. At least if maybe someone don't have any knowledge about how to play game, how could such a student benefit from this game?
Yeah. So could you rephrase your first part of your question just so I make sure I get it right? What were you wanting to do in your project again?
So the project is I want to actually look at the student cognitive engagement and then their emotional engagement.
Okay.
That's actually what I want to look at.
We'll make that the
Yeah.
last questions. And he is studying with Adam Maltese, and so is Risa, because Adam's in our
Oh.
science education. So yeah, there's a direct link there.
Cool. So yeah, I think you'll find a lot of work that looks at cognitive and emotional engagement with games. You know, we've all been very inspired by the broader work on engagement, and those are two of the four categories that have been studied in engagement. So cognitive engagement and emotional engagement are two big ones, but you also have behavioral engagement and agentic engagement, which is sort of a weird one, but that is how much initiative are kids taking, like actively taking steps that they weren't told to take and things like that. So that's a unique category. So anyway, I think, you know, it's hard for me to answer because a lot of games engage you in all four ways. And so how you measure it, I guess one advice I would have is that whatever game you pick, make sure that you're getting log files from it, because that fine-grained data can be very helpful in backing up what you find in your surveys when you do pre and post surveys, which we do as well. But that log data, that interaction data can tell you so much, even if it's just very simple metrics like how far they explore in Minecraft. We look at that. You know, how many interactions, how many observations they make. We look at all of that as an indicator of engagement and on-topic, you know, behavior, on-topic interactions, because they will go off topic. Like we caught them playing hide and seek on our server. We catch them doing all kinds of things, finding the barriers, you know, that has nothing to do with science. And we don't get mad. We're just like, come on, you know. But anyway, that's my recommendation, is to consider all the types of data you might want to collect to answer your research questions. And those process data and pre and post test data are the two that I see the most in games work.
All right. Thanks.
Hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
So in the chat window, please type 3-4 words for Chad for tonight while I recap a little bit here of appreciation for Chad. And first off, there's a yes/no question or maybes. Please say yes or maybe. Two questions. Will you share your slides with us?
Sure.
And can they perhaps, Trong had to leave early. She's at Fresno State, my former mentee student. She would like to contact you. She's doing design work. And so I'll be introducing you to her, and maybe some others might want to talk to you, and I'll share your email. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. I'll do my best. I'm a little behind on email at the moment, so
yeah.
I always tell all my students this. When I get someone who follows up with me, I am always mad at myself, not at them. So just bug me, and I feel guilty. So it's never a problem to bug me if I can't answer all my emails. But anyway, I invite you all to bug me, bother me, nag me.
That sounds great. That's why I love,
get back to you.
Yeah, I love having you as a guest tonight because you're very flexible and open with what you're doing there. And you told me this afternoon, it's interesting, we're using just special issues. You gave me an idea for next year to just have guests from the Big Ten, given that USC, UCLA, Washington will be part of the Big Ten, Oregon. We'll have 18 schools to pick from. So I'll maybe get a different person every week from a different Big Ten university as a guest. But also, what's that?
Matthew Berland at UW Madison. Awesome guy.
Okay, well, yeah, put that in an email, so I'll look him up. Last comment is back and forth between describing and then going to the slides is always, I find, in Zoom, the perfect combination. So this was the perfect class with the perfect person that we could bring in tonight who knows this research, because he did this research and others. So it was ideal having you with us tonight. Honestly, I love this session because you were tapped into resources that you could share. And now Bo's going to summarize all those for us. It even enhances it even better. We'll share the summary and recap with you, Chad. Could everyone unmute your mics and just say thank you, Chad? And then I'll stop the presentation.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chad.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Kurt, for the invitation.
I'm stopping the recording. Week 4, R678, Emerging Learning Technologies, Spring 2024. It's been great having Chad Lane with us tonight from the University of Illinois.